Alright, here is POCO's first ever C-series smartphone to be launched here in Malaysia, the POCO C65. This is an entry-level smartphone and it is priced at only 499 ringgit. Is it good and is it actually worth your money? I'll go through all of the usual points in this video, and it's going to be a rather short video since this is a pretty straightforward phone. I think it's gonna be a short video, I don't know. So we'll start off with the design. We have the black color here, and it is indeed using a matte finish back. It has a sparkly reflection finish, but the camera cutout is using a glossy finish. Really nothing much to talk about it here in terms of its design, as it is rather simple and mostly made out of plastic. For the cameras, there are a total of 3 camera sensors on this phone, and I would only consider one of them to be usable to take pictures. One of them is a depth sensor and another one is a 2 megapixel macro camera that takes pictures that look like this. Anyway, the camera is honestly not bad for an entry-level smartphone. I've seen more expensive phones that take worse pictures than this phone. The clarity is okay, the exposure is quite nice, but the dynamic range and the overall white balance it just seems off. Either way, for an entry-level smartphone, this camera is rather good. The screen is also rather good here. It has a 6.74-inch IPS LCD screen with 90Hz refresh rate, and it's at a resolution of 1600 by 720 pixels. Yes, a 720p screen in an entry-level smartphone. I think that's acceptable, right? As for the color accuracy, I think it's pretty good. It covers 93.51% of sRGB and has an extremely low delta E number across the board. Its brightness is also quite good for an IPS LCD screen, as we can get somewhere around 600 nits. Since it is an entry-level smartphone, we do have a water drop notch at the top and also a bigger chin at the bottom. Oh, and one more thing that I should mention is that this phone does not come with a pre-applied screen protector from the factory. I think this is the first time I encountered a Xiaomi or POCO phone that doesn't have it. Now the performance, it is packed with the MediaTek Helio G85 chipset, which is a surprising thing to see on an entry-level smartphone, but it is an old chipset after all. The performance is good enough for day-to-day usage, but it is definitely rough if you want to play games like, let's just say, Genshin Impact, even at the lowest graphical settings. Now, the software is something that I want to particularly point out about one thing. It is running on Android 13 with MIUI 14 on top, but this isn't the version of MIUI that we've come to expect. It has a bunch of bloatware, and I mean a bunch. I'm just not a fan of that. And those bloatware, even though they are there, you can remove most of it. The 5000 mAh battery in this phone can last for about 12 hours, which is decent for day-to-day usage, so nothing too spectacular here since the MediaTek Helio G85 chipset is rather old and not that efficient as modern chipsets. However, this phone, the charging speed, this is something funky because in the box, POCO only gives you a 10-watt charger. And I think this is a very rare treasure nowadays, since I personally use a 10-watt charger to charge my phones overnight every night. So for this phone, the 5000 mAh battery, it's gonna take like about 145 minutes to charge completely with the 10-watt charger, which is around 2 hours and 25 minutes. If we do plug this phone into our USB PD charger, then it does take a maximum of 18 watts. That is because 18 watts fast charging is Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0, and that is technically the most basic form of fast charging. Yeah. And finally, a few more things to mention. This phone is using a USB 2.0 port at the bottom, but it does have a triple card slot, which is an increasingly rare feature nowadays. And it also has an audio jack at the top as well. However, as you can see here, it is completely blank, so that means there is no IR blaster. That is also surprising to me, since I thought IR blasters are like Xiaomi or POCO's iconic feature, right? It's just not on the C65. So overall, for the price of 499 ringgit, you get everything that we mentioned earlier. Honestly speaking, for the price, I think this is a pretty good phone to buy at that particular price point. And that's all we have to share with you in this video. There's literally no alternatives for a phone like this at this price point. So if you have any other questions regarding this phone, then do leave them down in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe on your way there, and we'll see you guys in the next video.